Hi everyone. Today I want to talk to you about a phenomenon called code switching. Code switching was once thoroughly studied by the professor called Shanna Poplack at the University of Ottawa. Of course, other scholars and professors have studied the phenomena code switching, but Poplack is the paper I'm referring to when I'm going to talk about code switching today. And Poplack defines code switching as follows: random alternation of two languages. So sometimes you start a sentence in one language and finish it in another language. And Japanese people or scholars call it gocha mazeben. And it's matter of fact that only bilingual or trilingual people or people who manipulate more than one languages switch between the two. If you are monolingual, you don't have anything to switch to. And in Japan, bilinguals are considered to be quite rare. Well, recently, there are more and more people who are bilingual, but Japanese people historically uh, consider themselves to be monolingual, monocultural. Um, but surprisingly, there are more bilingual people in the world than monolingual people according to Cook 2003. So what's the ratio between monolingual, bilingual, and trilingual people? So according to the statistics you see here, there are 40% of the world population that's monolingual, 43 bilingual, and 13 trilingual. So here bilingual are the people who can use two languages with equal fluency. Trilingual are the people who can use three languages freely. So you can see the statistics here that there are more bilingual people in the world than monolingual people. And it's the code switching is the phenomena that these bilingual and trilingual people employ when they speak. Sorachi 2006 say that there is a myth among bilingual people. And a lot of parents and educators worry that bilingual children speak a mixed language. In this sense, mixed language is gocha mazeben, and people worry that those bilingual people will not end up speaking either language properly. However, Poplack 1980 went against this myth, and she proved that code switching is not such a random phenomenon. And before I talk about what Poplack proposed or concluded, I would like to introduce to you the recording of actually my children and me talking at the dinner table. And you can see what real code switching is like. Unfortunately, the topic of the conversation, believe it or not, it's a dinner table, but we were talking about food poisoning. Please excuse me for the not so suitable topic, but I'm also going to put subtitles in so that you can see where we switch and what we are talking about. So please listen to it.
But for mass-produced sushi, like what you bought today,
Yeah,
then it'll be frozen.
like
and then,
Costco.
Yeah.
怒りの魚おったやん
4人。
白いやつ
ミミズ入って
入ってた
あ
た。それやと思う。
あ、それは大丈夫。
And we
あれ
went
は
to give it back
Yeah.
Remember? めっちゃキモかったあれなんか出てきて
I heard that's quite common and it dies when you cook it. But if you
Yeah,
eat
exactly.
it raw,
If you eat that
Yeah.
raw, yeah. So that's
it's called
why you should.
anikisas or something.
Yeah. That's it. And they can they get into your stomach, and they can't survive in the digestive
I've
acid.
heard of that.
So they go into the lining of the stomach.
And it opens
And
the.
it-
And then there's other, there's a necrosis.
That's
Yeah.
There's one that eats you inside.
Yeah.
The second thing is,
Anyway, that's why they freeze it. And then you should only eat sashimi no salmon.
So
for-
sashimi on the salmon means it's frozen
It's been frozen.
before.
Yeah. But if you buy like salmon no hide
Yeah,
and you eat that as sashimi,
Right.
you shouldn't do that because you
right.
might die.
Because they say kanetsuyo and sashimi.
So that's why. Because the kanetsuyo probably hasn't been frozen.
But you know.
So, how was it? I hope you enjoyed listening to us. And maybe you've noticed that these bilingual people are talking quite smoothly and switching between the here Japanese and English. And as Poplak suggested, she also collected data, and she showed us a lot of data that provide us with strong evidence that code switching is a skill, and it requires a large degree of linguistic competence in more than one language. As people feared, if we are lacking knowledge or a command of either language, and if we are trying to compensate that lack, we wouldn't be able to switch back and forth so smoothly. And Poplak talks about different rules that people obey in switching between the two languages. So this is not happening because of the insufficient knowledge of one or the other. That's how Poplak concludes the paper. And she also said this is a technique or skill we use to show that we belong to this bilingual community. So if you are bilingual and if you are speaking to someone who only understands Japanese, you never switch back and forth between English and Japanese. You do code switching only when you are speaking to other bilingual people. And we do so subconsciously, probably, in order to show that we belong to this community. And it might be related to your identity. So this is a short explanation and introduction to the phenomena called code switching. And I hope that this excited you enough to feel like you want to actually come to take my class called psycholinguistics. Thank you for viewing my video.